Hello, my name is Alexandra. To kick off my summer, I spent 1 month in Thailand for the study abroad trip Global Change, Communities, and Families in Thailand. My story of how I came into this program is a unique one and a story worth sharing, as I believe it truly encapsulates one of the greatest lessons I could have learned while there: to always take chances and live life to its fullest. To offer some preface, last summer I spent 1 month in Bangkok with a dear friend's family, experiencing a perfect mixture of tourist attractions and everyday life. I got to sit down and eat meals with her family, observe their daily interactions with each other, and learn snippets of the language. This was such a unique trip, one that truly allowed me to fall in love with metropolitan Thai culture. Fast forward to this year, the application for the study abroad trip had been closed for a couple of weeks, but, desperately wanting to go back, I decided to fill out the application anyway. Through a stroke of luck, I was accepted into the program. I was so happy. Ever since last summer, every ounce of my being had yearned to go back to the land of smiles. Although I had learned so much from my previous trip, I knew there was so much more out there that I needed to know. To provide a little more information about myself, I am a senior majoring in biology, society, and environment, and minoring in public health and geography. So the fact that our first full day in country was spent participating in a child-safe workshop, where we learned about the trafficking of children and what Friends International and other organizations are doing to team up to end this all too prevalent issue in Southeast Asia, was absolutely spectacular for me. For quite some time now, I've wanted to work abroad with NGOs after I graduate in December. I want to help people become healthy. I want people to live life to their fullest potential, and in my mind, the best way to do that is through public health work. Our time spent at Friends International opened my eyes into how realistic it was for me to do this kind of work abroad. I'm fortunate enough to have discovered my true passion for international public health work while still in my undergraduate career, and in a beautiful country. So to see the magnificent work being done by this NGO was remarkable and lit a flame in me. I hadn't even been back in Thailand for 24 hours, and I was already planning my return trip to make a career for myself. What I truly loved about Friends International was this child-safe movement and the practicality of their work there. This organization stressed becoming involved in the community to find what it is they truly need. They wanted to solve problems, not just put a Band-Aid over them. They worked on an individual level, helping cases find the resources, education, and special care they needed, and worked on a larger scale to prevent children, families, and their communities from falling into the difficult-to-escape cycle of human trafficking. After our time in Bangkok, we went to Chiang Mai, where we got to speak with Pra KK, a Buddhist monk. For me, Buddhism had always been something I had heard mentioned frequently, but knew next to nothing about. For me, this chat was eye-opening. I learned about a way of life that unknowingly aligns with some of my own philosophies. The first thing I learned was Buddhism is a philosophy or way of life, not a religion. After discussing what Buddhism looks like through the eyes of a monk in Thailand, we learned about their eating habits, their daily schedules, and ways people honor Buddha. Pra KK closed his talk with 2 sentences that really struck me. They are simple, yet profound. They are this: everything is impermanent, and the future does not exist yet. 2 exceptionally simple sentences, yet they were exactly what I needed to hear at that moment of my life. I was standing at the crossroads between academia, only 1 semester away from graduation, and the inevitable transition into true adulthood and the workforce. Still struggling to figure out when and where I would attend graduate school, where I wanted to work, what desires I wanted to fulfill before settling down, and if settling down was ever really a part of my story, and how I wanted to leave my mark on this earth. And in 2 short sentences, I learned that none of that mattered at that exact moment. What mattered at that moment was what my entire being was experiencing in that small air-conditioned room in Chiang Mai. What mattered was the people surrounding me, the weather outside, and the relentless sun keeping us uncomfortably warm that day. After our discussion of Buddhism, I was determined to live a more present life. I wanted to savor every moment as they arose. I had a gist of what my future wanted to look like: public health work abroad, graduate school, and hiking the Appalachian Trail. The rest of the details, the dates, the locations, would all fill themselves in as these goals of mine came closer, to a point of my life where I could accomplish them. Until then, I would make the most of my time in country with my new friends, learning about the culture, eating great food, and stepping outside of my comfort zone. With this mindset, I entered the second half of our trip. We did so many wonderful things. If I talked about every single one of them, I'm sure this would turn into a 3-part documentary. But I would like to share a few pictures from some of my favorite moments. We had the opportunity to live in a homestay in Mae Kampong, a tiny traditional village tucked away in the mountains, surrounded by jungles. While there, we hiked down a mountain, experienced a lifestyle that most of us had never had before, and got to wake up to give morning alms to some of the local monks at the village temple, much like we learned from Pra KK. We saw the breathtaking views from Doi Mon Lan, a remote Hmong village nestled in the mountains. We toured their gorgeous flower gardens and reveled in the sunshine and beautiful views from atop that mountain. The public health nerd in me really came out when we had lunch at Cabbages and Condoms. The whole premise of this restaurant is to make condoms as accessible to people as cabbages are. In summary, the biggest lesson I learned while in Thailand is to always remain present. Take every day for what it is worth and enjoy all the sensations it comes with. Awaken your senses, and soon you'll realize that seemingly menial tasks like shopping become a vibrant and beautiful experience. I've learned to savor every sight, sound, flavor, scent, and sensation of every experience I have. It further reaffirmed my love and passion for public health and provided me with some realistic doorways for a future, volunteer positions, or careers. This trip was a journey of self-discovery for me. I made many wonderful friends along the way and ate my fair share of green tea ice cream. It taught me that the fast-paced Western society we live in creates unnecessarily high amounts of stress for many of us, myself included. From our talk with Pra KK, I learned that it's okay not to have a plan because the future doesn't exist yet.